As you might have noticed, the setting here is a little different from what I usually do. I'm not in my home office, as you can see. We are RVing Denmark for several months right now. We were supposed to go RVing around Europe, first Germany, France, Belgium and southern part of England, but due to the whole corona pandemic thing, we're not allowed to leave the country at this point. So we are RVing Denmark and we've been to 5-6 different campgrounds. So I'm doing a mix of videos that I pre-recorded on your channel right now, and I'm also doing some videos right now as we are RVing, as you can see. In this video I'm going to share with you one tip that I haven't seen anybody share on YouTube or anywhere for that matter. It's a way you can use Google Search Console to increase your click-through rate. So that means that you can get more people to click your articles when they see them in Google. So this is very important for many reasons. Mainly because the higher the click-through rate, the more people will end up on your website reading your article, seeing your ads, clicking your affiliate links and so on and so on. So the click-through rate means how many people out of those who see your page in the search results are actually clicking on your article. And it's just one thing you can do in Google Search Console. It's a totally underrated tool that you need to dig into. You need to go into the Google Search Console if you're not familiar with it and see all the cool things you can do inside it. I have a video up here specifically about everything I use Google Search Console for my blogging website and my content websites. So now, just before I show you this tip, or this tactic I should say, I just want to quickly elaborate on the click-through rate according to rankings. A lot of SEOs believe that the higher the click-through rate, meaning the more people who click on your result in Google, the higher up you will move in the rankings. Google has come out several times and told us that this is not true, but I mean, a lot of testing and a lot of SEO tests have shown that this is probably true, and so nobody knows for sure, but I mean, who really cares? I mean, if you can get more clicks, it's just as good as getting better rankings. I mean, that's why we want better rankings, right? To get more clicks to our website. That's the ultimate goal of all we do in SEO, is to get more traffic from Google. And getting more clicks from Google is definitely the best way to do this. So working with the titles on your site is extremely important. It's the easiest way to increase the traffic to your site in my book. So the tactic I'm going to show you here is a way to look into your analytics inside Google Search Console and see how you can utilize all your data to create better titles on your site. You can actually see which titles or which articles on your site are getting the most clicks in Google. By doing that, you will learn a lot about not only your audience, but also all your articles in general, and see how you can sort of replicate these tactics that you have been using in these titles to get more traffic to the next articles you're going to write, and also you can go back to all the previous articles you've written on your site and implement some of these cool things that you'll find when you dig into which title are getting the most clicks from Google. So a little quick note here: if you don't have any traffic on your site yet, or you don't think you have enough impressions inside Google Search Console and visitors to your site in order to get any real data here, I will show you later in this video some of the findings that I have found on my articles, some of the things that I've learned from digging into my own data. So you will definitely be able to learn something from that if you haven't got enough data yourself to dig into it. Let's dig into the data. I'll show you how to do this inside Search Console, and I'll also show you how to do it inside Google Analytics, because we can link the two, and that makes things easier, because when you link Google Search Console to Google Analytics, the data inside Google Analytics are of course the same, but inside Google Analytics you have another column there in the Reports tab that shows you the actual click-through rate. So that's awesome. Let me show you here how to find this and how to utilize it. So now we're inside Google Search Console first, because this is where the data actually originates from. And if you go in here to Performance and Search Results, and you go down here and click on Pages here in these tabs here, you will see the clicks and impressions per URL here. So of course, if you divide the clicks and impressions, you will be able to calculate how many % of the impressions actually resulted in clicks. You can also look at the CTR, the click-through rate, but only on average. If I click that here, I'll just see another graph here, but that makes no sense because that's an average of all the articles on the site. We want to see the number per article, of course, in order to pinpoint those articles that have an excellent CTR. So when you link Google Analytics and Google Search Console. You will pull this data from Google Search Console into Google Analytics, and if you click the video that I linked to previously up here, you will see exactly how to link those two. But let's head over to Analytics here, because then you'll go to Acquisition over here. You will have Google Search Console, and you will have this landing page tab here now that you have linked the two. And in here you have this click-through rate column here. That's pretty handy. So again, you have the impressions and the clicks that you had before, and many more columns of data here, which is really awesome. So the column we want to focus in on here, of course, is the CTR. We want to see where we're getting the most clicks from these impressions. And by sorting by CTR, we can see exactly that. And then we want to sort these columns, because as you can see here, some of these URLs are only getting like one impression. And of course, if you were lucky to get one click, you'll have 100% CTR, and that doesn't make any sense. So go into advanced here and change landing pages here to look at impressions greater than, let's say, 500, or maybe 300 is enough for the last 30 days. Click apply. And now we only see URLs with at least 300 impressions. And now when we sort by CTR, you'll see that this URL here has a click-through rate of 43%. So that's the front page of my site, right? But then it quickly drops to 13, 11, 11, 11, 11, 9, 9, 8, 8. And these are the types of articles that you really want to dive into and check out what did you do with this title in order to get such an awesome click-through rate from Google. I mean, getting 11 or 10 or 8% of the searches on Google to click through to your site, that's just amazing. And these are the topics where you did a really, really great job. So dig into those, try to replicate exactly what you did, and figure out why they have such an epic click-through rate. So let's say you made it to the 3rd position in Google. You have moved your site all the way up there, and the 1st and 2nd article up there, they have a pretty bad title, and you're able to craft something that's a little more creative, more enticing to the user, and just an overall better title that matches the intent of the user much better. In that case, you might be able to grab a lot more traffic than the 1st or the 2nd article up there. So it's a great way to dig into the data here and see how you can improve on your existing titles and how to create better titles in the future. So before I'm going to share with you some of the findings that I have learned from my own website from digging into this data inside Google Search Console and Google Analytics, I just want to quickly ask you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, because I put out this video every week and I'd love to have you among my community here. And also leave a comment down below, because I read every single one of them. I also do Q&A videos. If you want to ask questions, just do so, and I might answer it in one of the next videos up there. So from digging into my own data on my own websites and seeing how I crafted the best titles across my sites, I found that creating sort of a promise inside the title is a great way to entice people to click through to your site. It can be something like 5 things you'll learn from, or after reading this you will know how to, stuff like that, where you sort of go another route than just listing keywords and thinking about the actual keywords, but just turning it into sort of a catchy phrase that people want to click on. You might be scared away from this if you're used to just listing as many long tail keywords or whatever in the title, and that's something that I'm strongly moving away from. I'm thinking much more about how to get people to click than to actually list the keywords. I've shown you a couple of times in previous videos how you can actually rank an article for a search phrase or keywords that's not even in the title and not even in the article itself. So don't think too much about a certain keyword. Just think about how to make it really appealing by promising something in that title. Another thing I learned from digging into all my titles, and something that works really well for me in order to get people to actually click on the titles inside the Google search result, is to use appealing words such as quick guide, checklist, or type for beginners at the end of the title. This sort of directs the title toward a certain demographic. And if you can see that this is the intention behind the search, you know your topic you're writing about. If it seems like people are searching for a guide or just a quick read, they're just looking to learn something from you. Using words like this can really increase the click rate as well. On some of my sites, I also found that specific batches of content, sort of types of content would just do really well because nobody had written these articles. I just found a whole pile of underserved subtopics within this niche. It's easy to see when you find this when you're looking at the click-through rate, because you will have a very, very high click-through rate when you're the only one who wrote an article on this topic. Maybe you'll have a click-through rate of 8 or 10 or 12% of the people searching this will click to your site. So by looking at this data, I also found some of these really great clusters of content to write about. Let's say I was writing for Animal How. It could be something like, how much is this dog breed shedding, or how much should you feed, or whatever. Stuff like this, where you find something that you can replicate again and again across different dog breeds or different types of products, you know. It's a great way to find these gold mines of topics by looking into what articles are having the highest click-through rate. I hope you found this tip helpful. It's definitely something that I'm looking into, and I hope you'll subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.